Hello, Badass Nation, and welcome to the Badass in Business Show, the show where we help you with your inner game and your outer game, teaching you to own your inner badass and sharing strategies with you to badass your business, or in other words, get badassified. I'm Annette Piper, the Badass Business Chick, and your host for today's show. And today is totally rockin' show. We have Mark Struczewski on the show today. See, I screwed up the first name instead of the last name. So let me give you the lowdown on Mark. Mark, or also known as Mr. Productivity, helps people be more productive in our distracted world. In addition to being a productivity expert, Mark is a speaker, host of the Mark Struczewski Show podcast, and online trainer. His strategies have guided CEOs and executive directors, business owners, business corporate specialists, and entrepreneurs to get back control of their time. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Annette, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, this is super exciting. I love the topic, but before we dig in, tell us a little bit more about you, your business, your life, what you're passionate about, and what inspired you to start your business.
Well, I'm an only child. I think after my parents had me, they said, oh my goodness, that's all we can handle. So that was it. They broke the mold. They shut the factory down. So I never had brothers or sisters when I was growing up. And so as a result, I was really tough to share. I didn't like to share it because I didn't have to share with anybody. I didn't have anybody in the house. So that was kind of weird. But how I got into productivity, interesting enough, it was all a result of me getting fired from my job here in Houston back in July of 2005. And when I got fired, I decided, okay, what am I going to do with my life? And I said, I know, I'll be an what's that word? Entrepreneur. I didn't know what it was, but I was going to be one. And so my first endeavor was in wedding and portrait photography, which failed. But one of the things that came out of there was my love for public speaking, which is ironic because back in high school and college, university for the rest of the world, I never liked to give oral reports at all. Now, as your listeners will find out in the show, that you can't keep me to shut up now. My problem is I didn't want to talk about photography because I originally got into speaking to promote my photography business. So then I came up with some topics, which I'm ashamed to admit, but I'll be honest with you on your show. One of them is called From Hopeless to Hopeful. I don't know where I came up with that one. Of course, that didn't go anywhere. Another one I came up with was how to overcome roadblocks in your path to success. Note to self, when you're not successful, don't tell people how to become successful. So one day I was on a phone call with my coach and I was just feeling blue. And he says, what's going on? I said, I really like speaking, but I can't come up with a topic to speak about. He goes, why don't you speak on productivity? And I remember saying to him, I said, I don't know where that came from, but why would you say that? And he goes, because you're one of the most productive people I know. You need to share that gift with the world. I'm like, okay. And that's how my productivity journey began all the way back there as a result of a conversation with a coach. So folks, if you have a coach, listen to them. They probably are very wise and you don't even really realize how wise they are.
Awesome. And as a coach, yes, listen to your coach. If you don't have one, get one.
Yes. Amen.
Well, I love the topic of productivity because that's an area that even though I coach people in productivity, I also get distracted in this distracted world.
No.
Productivity is such a huge topic. There is such an umbrella. Why did you choose to focus on the distractions?
When I first got into it, I didn't realize that productivity was, in fact, a big umbrella. And so I came out talking about calendar apps and to-do lists and, notes apps and stuff like that. And then I realized as I looked around, because I'm very observant, I'm always looking out and see what people are doing. And everybody's looking at their phones or there's some other distraction. And I started going, wow, that's a distraction. That's a distraction. So I started listing all the distractions. And there's certainly more than 5 distractions, but I have the top, what I consider my top 5. And I think everyone, they may put it in a different order, but my top 5 include social media. And most people are going, yep, Email, yep.
Yep.
People, yep. Entertainment, because now we have everything streaming now. Everything. You can get everything on demand now. And the fifth one is mindset. So I started helping people deal with these distractions because a lot of people don't even realize in that they're being distracted. Their phone goes off, they pick up their phone. They don't even realize they stopped working on their task or their project and they answered the phone. You were just distracted, but you did it on autopilot. You're not even paying attention now that you're being distracted, or you are trying to do your daily writing as you're going to write a book and you hear someone next room over talk, laugh, and you start typing the same line, erase it, type the same line, erase it. You don't even realize you're being distracted by the people next door. So distractions are killing our productivity.
Oh, I totally agree. And, it's a challenge in today's world to create a distraction-free environment. So what's a tip that you have for people to set themselves up, say for an hour of focused work and avoid those distractions?
Now, I'm going to assume that most people listening to your show are adults. So we need to practice adulting, okay? You need to be in charge of technology instead of letting technology be in charge of you. If you reach over to your phone and you turn it off, it's not going to scream and run away like a teenager or a little child. You have to be the boss. And now I never turn my phone off because I'm disciplined. And what I do, first of all, I do not have vibration mode on. Disable vibration mode on, because what people do, they do most of the things right. They will mute their phone, they will put it face down, but because vibration mode's on, they get a text, they get a phone call, they get a notification. What's your phone going to do? It's going to buzz. It's going to distract you. So disable your vibration mode, then mute the phone, then put it face down. Now you don't know if you get a text or a call or a notification. That way you are in control. We have got to practice adulting. We've got to practice being in control of technology. I think technology is great. As Tony the Tiger used to say, it's great, but you've got to be the one in control. I promise you, if I turn off my phone, the world's not going to end. Mark Zuckerberg's not going to come to my house. Nothing's going to happen. And we have got to take responsibility for our own productivity.
I love that, because that's probably a mistake I make, is I turn it on silent mode or vibration and it still, buzzes, and I look over to see what it is, and do I have to answer it right now? Is it something important? So I love that, because then you're not turning off the phone, but you're disabling it. I never thought of that.
Well, here's the thing: is before we got on this podcast interview today, my phone is right next to me. It's muted. It's face down. Of course, vibration's already turned off. My Apple Watch is on Do Not Disturb for an hour, and it's muted. So if I get a phone call, it'll ring on my Apple Watch, but it won't vibrate or anything because I'm focused on you and serving your listeners. But it's these little things. Everybody wants the big hack. Give me a big strategy. And I tell them, okay, disable vibration mode and turn off 99.999% of your notifications. If you just do those two things, you will have so much peace, because you won't be being distracted every time someone texts you. And, God forbid if someone gives you in a group text. And so every time someone does a message, ding, 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 sounds like a railroad crossing. You need to be in control. And the thing is, if you have vibration mode off, you have your phone muted and face down, guess what? You don't know if you're getting all those text messages, but you really need to turn off those notifications as well. Not all of them.
That.
I'm not saying, some people say turn them all off. I don't say that. I have my calendar on. I have my to-do list on, my credit card apps, because if my card is charged and I'm home, I'd like to know about it. Weather apps, but I have 130 apps on my phone. Probably 99% of them have no notifications turned on. You are in control of what notifications fire off on your phone. You have to take control of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one thing I've been very careful of, is the notifications on apps, because they could just drive you crazy. I'd be distracted all day. Yep. So I love that tip. And so you said that one of your 5 distractions that you've identified is email. And I know that's a challenge for me. I get so much email coming in and, keeping control of that. So how can we be the boss of our email instead of our email being the boss of us?
Stop living in your email. First of all, make sure notifications are turned off. Second thing, schedule time when you're in your email. Now, I am the outlier. I can literally check my email every 10 minutes because I am very militant about my email, and I don't get a lot of email that are non-client email. I don't sign up for email newsletters. I don't sign up for a PDF file that I'm never going to read. We've all done that. We sign up for a PDF file, sits on our desktop or sits in the folder. We never even opened it. So don't sign up for that. Sound like you've done it, Annette. So I've done it too. So, let's be honest here. And you got to get back control of your inbox. So for me, I can literally check my email like every 10 minutes. It takes me like maybe 2 minutes to clean it up. I don't get a lot of email. Now, that is something I had to discipline myself for years on end. Now, I usually don't check my email every 10 minutes, probably a couple times a day. Number one, this is going to shock your audience, probably shock you in that. We're not that important, okay? If it's that important, you better call me or come knock on my front door, okay? Don't email me. I don't like email because email, if you get a lot of email, you're going to miss the important emails. And so I'm really militant about who gets in my email address. If I connect with someone on LinkedIn, of course, they get my email address and they turn around right away and they add me to their email list. Now, I educate them as Mr. Productivity. And I'm like, hey, A, you're violating the terms of service of LinkedIn. B, if you live in Canada, United States, or Europe, you're breaking federal law. You can't, just because we're connected on LinkedIn does not mean I gave you permission to add me to your email list. So be very careful of that. The third thing I would say is when you're composing an email, get to the point, stick to the point. So if you have to email someone about a question and they already know the background, just ask the question. How many times we read an email, you get an email and it's like paragraph after paragraph. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to read all this stuff. So get to the point, stick to the point. And if you got to ask 3 questions, send 3 emails. Because most people are going to read the email, they're going to read that first question, hit reply, answer it, and then they're going to be done. So send 3 separate emails, like 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. It sounds silly, but we've all done it. You hit that first question, you hit reply, you send, and you forget about it. You don't continue reading the email. So 1 question per email is my advice.
I love that. I've never thought about it that way, but I hate reading long emails. I hate reading long Facebook posts. Mm-hmm. It's like if I have to hit the more button and it like creates this great big long thing, I'm gone. I don't have time to read long Facebook posts and long emails.
Yep.
And I've 100%. never thought about it that way.
Yep.
So
I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve, Annette. I'm here to serve.
Yeah, well, you're doing a great job. And so talking about the social media beast, how do we tame that? I know that's a huge distraction for most people.
Just a little bit of a problem. Just a little bit of a problem. Here's the thing about social media, and we all know this. Social media is designed to keep you on the platforms forever, or at least until you die, okay? And even after that. So you have to be the one in control. So I recommend people to do. I shock people and I tell them I may consume social media 30 minutes a week. And they're like, wait, no, there's promoting your business, your brand, and your cause. That's promotion. I'm not talking about that. You need to do that to grow your business, your brand, and support your cause. I'm talking about when you're looking at cat videos on YouTube or cat videos on Instagram. What you need to do is you need to set yourself boundaries. So get a timer. Every phone has a timer. But I want you to go spend 99 cents or $1.50. Go get the most annoying alarm you can find on the App Store. Someone suggests I should come up with my own alarm. I don't know if I have time for that right now. And then what you do is you set it for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I wouldn't do it any more than 60 minutes. And then you set the alarm or you set the timer and you just do whatever you want to do on social media. Look at Instagram, look at Snapchat, look at LinkedIn, whatever you want to do, consume. But when that timer goes off, what do you think you do, Annette?
You're done. You shut it down.
Exactly. Most people have nothing but them collapsing in bed in order to get off social media. You've got to have something that jolts you and said, hey, it's time to get off social media. If you don't, 30 minutes of best intentions is going to get into an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. You're like, oh my gosh, I just wasted 4 hours because social media has endless scrolling for a reason.
Right. And two, I think, and that's what happens to me when I'm, bored or I'm not focused, is that 4 hours comes in small chunks.
Yep.
So, I've got 10 minutes between a meeting. Let me check Facebook. When that 10 minutes, I could have composed an email. I could have composed a social media post got it on buffer and got it ready to scheduled in, be sent out, rather than scrolling mindlessly on social media. So I have to catch myself as well, because those little bite-sized chunks add up to 4 hours, 5 hours a day, 3 hours. And that time, you could spend 10 minutes writing in your book in between meetings, or there's a lot of things you could do rather than just endless, mindless scrolling.
One of my favorite books I love and I highly recommend everyone read, I wish it was mine, it's Cal Newport's Deep Work. It's an awesome book. I've listened to the audio twice, read the book once. Incredible book. It's about being productive in a distracted world. One of the things he talks about in the book is about embracing the boredom. Now, what he means by that is when you have 10 minutes before the meeting, you just don't do anything. Just be quiet. Just don't think about what's going to happen. But what we do, we grab for our phone. Oh, the leader of our country may be texting us. He's not. Okay. He's not. So why not just look around and say, oh, wow, look at the wallpaper. I haven't noticed that. Or, oh, look at Judy's birthday's day. We're not paying attention because we go right to our phone. Embrace the boredom. I love that. And I try to do that. I have this rule, and I go out to lunch with my wife. I said, can you put your phone down, please? I'm your husband. Look at me. Aren't I gorgeous? Look at me. You say I'm gorgeous. You say I'm handsome. Look at me. And I got to keep reminding her. I'm like, put the phone down. And it's not that nothing you're looking at. Are you finding a cure for cancer right now? What are you doing? And so, but we instinctively pick up our phone. When we're bored, like you just said, we pick up our phone instead of embracing the boredom and go, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and look around. And we don't do that. We're always, oh, that's a wasted time. No. What if you take 10 minutes before the meeting and you just close your eyes and do some meditation? All of a sudden, boom, an idea pops in your head. Oh my gosh, because you weren't surfing Facebook. Now the idea pops in your head. Think about that.
Right. Well, and I like that. And to me, I don't think it's so much that, we think it's a waste of time to spend that 10 minutes doing that. I think it goes back to what you said at first. It's that unconscious habitual. We just go right to it. We started that habit. Now it's just an unconscious thing. We don't even think about I'm wasting time. It's like, oh, I got 10 minutes. I'll just get on Facebook. Yep. Instead of saying to ourselves, okay, what could I be doing right now that could be more productive? Or could I, why not spend this 10 minutes just in quiet time, breathing, centering myself? And Albert Einstein, he had that thought time, that thinking time, and that's where he got some of his most genius, brilliant ideas. And that seems like a much more way to spend 10 minutes than mindlessly scrolling and seeing what everybody else is doing or not doing or complaining about or sharing on Facebook or social media in general. Facebook. Yep. I say Facebook because I was on that 10 minutes before we got on here. So
Annette.
But I was actually posting in my group. So in my Facebook group.
Okay, we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you.
Awesome. Well, cool. I love all of those tips that you shared. What would be the biggest piece of advice that you would give entrepreneurs right now to get control of their time above what you've already shared with us today?
Always take the time to tell your time where to go instead of wondering where it went. So many people are in reactive mode. They don't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to work 9 hours today. I already have 4 hours filled with podcast interview, coaching clients, whatever the case may be. What am I going to put in the other 5 hours? And don't make it all about work. Okay. Well, I want to take a lunch break. That's 30 minutes. I want to walk the dog. That's 30 minutes. Okay. I want to read. That's an hour. Fill up their time. A lot of people, the thing that scares most people is white space. They don't realize it scares them. They schedule the real appointments like coaching clients, but the other 5 hours, they're like, oh, I'll figure something out. No, you better take the time and put something on your calendar, because what gets scheduled has a much more likelihood of getting done than if you just have white space. You look at your calendar and go, well, I got a coaching client from 1 to 2 and then 4 to 5. Well, I'll certainly be productive between 2 and 4. Will you? Probably not, because there's nothing on your schedule. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but sit down. What I do is I use Brendan Burchard's high performance planner, and I sit down and I'm okay, what do I want to get done tomorrow? Okay. And the fixed stuff, like this conversation with you, is a fixed event. I can't call you and say, can we move for 15 minutes? But the other stuff, like reading or walking the dog, I can fit that in, other places. But I put it on my schedule. Even if I change it to look at, I'm not going to, well, I got to walk the dog. That's kind of mandatory. But maybe I won't read from 2 to 2:30. Maybe I'll read from 4:30 to 5. So I can move that around. But I put something on my schedule, and the flexible stuff does get moved around a lot. But at least I took the time to put it on my schedule. So I'm showing some intentionality, and it makes me more productive. Just telling my time where to go instead of getting the end of the day and go, man, I worked today, but what did I do? Does that make sense?
Exactly. And I think that's a great idea. I mean, I sit down, I write it in my planner, but I don't necessarily schedule it in my calendar on my phone. And that's the calendar that I follow every day. That's when I got the notifications pop up to reminding me, oh, you got this to do at this time.
Yeah. So what I do is I schedule in the planner, and then I convert it to my iPhone calendar, which goes with me everywhere. But I actually schedule it on the planner in my own handwriting I'll use a prop here for those of you watching the video, with a pen. And there's something magical about looking at your day and going, okay. And now keep in mind, I also have a running list of everything I've got to do every day. Okay. I actually write those down every day. And then when I see all the white space, I look at my tasks that need to get done, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. And I say, okay, what can fit in today? Because now I'm not just making stuff up. I already have a running list of things that need to be done, but they're not time critical. I mean, eventually before I die, they'd be done. But then I think, okay, what can be done today? And a lot of people don't do that. They sit there and go, okay, I've got the 4 hours scheduled. I don't know I'm going to do the rest of the stuff. And what happens is, well, I'll just check Facebook or social media for a couple of minutes. You spend an hour and a half on it because you've got nothing else that you didn't write down because you made the mistake of keeping it in your head. And so when you need to do something, you have no place to go. Oh, yeah, here it is. This is what I have to work on tomorrow or this afternoon. You didn't write it down. Now, of course, you can't remember it. So what do? You go goof off on social media.
Absolutely. That's a great tip. I like that. I'm going to do more of that. Recurring things I have in my calendar, but day to day, I don't stop and put things in my calendar unless it's a fixed appointment. So I really like that advice. So Mark, you have a special offer for our listeners, I believe.
Well, everybody can go to my website, which is MrProductivity.com. Mr. is all spelled out. And you get redirected to markstruczewski.com. You're welcome. So when you go to MrProductivity.com, right there at the top, it says join the 7-day productivity challenge. For 7 days, you just give me 2 minutes a day. I will give you tips and strategies on how you can become more productive. I'm a big fan of simplicity. I think complexity is a gateway to procrastination. So I give you simple things to do for a week. People have gone through this, even people who thought they were productive, and they're like, wow, I picked up some things. And so that's the whole thing. Anybody can get a hold of it and sign up for it at MrProductivity.com. But don't just sign up and read the emails. Actually do what I tell you to do, because there's no magic in just signing up or just reading the emails. You have to actually do. And a lot of people, they don't want to do. They think, oh, if I sign up, I'm going to be instantly productive. That's not how it works. You have to actually do the activities. And they're not hard. It takes you less than 2 minutes a day.
Well, very cool. Mark, it's been great having you on the show today. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you, Annette. It was a pleasure to be on the show and serve both you and your audience.
Yes, I really enjoyed it. And Mark's info and links will be in the podcast notes. Remember to share the podcast with other badass business owners, and check out my e-learning site, badassbusinessacademy.com. and join the Facebook group, Badass Business Builders Mastermind, and I'll post a link for that as well. Thanks everyone for listening. Go out and make it a badass day. Namaste.